Hey, party people! Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, an RPG podcast built for two. I am your host, as always, Jeff Stormer. This week I am joined by Strix, a game designer for Bluebeard's Bride, a diversity advocate, and host of the Twitch show Weekly Affirmations, where she explores indie and freeform games, for a game of Our Radios Are Dying by Caitlin Bell. Our Radios Are Dying is a really interesting and evocative game that explores the last moments between two star-crossed lesbian lovers from the warring planets of Venus and Mars, moments after an accident has left them floating in space without hope of a rescue. It's heavy stuff, but I think it's really powerful and moving at the same time, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. And if you enjoy the game, you can download it from CaitlinBell.com. Caitlin is a wonderful game designer who releases all of her work for free with support from her Patreon backers. We've plugged some of her stuff on the show before, specifically her recently funded Kickstarter for Singularity. She's definitely a designer you should support both by checking out her games on her site, and if you like them, which I think you will, supporting her Patreon at patreon.com/Caitlin. Links to both of those can be found in the show notes. With all that said, let me throw it over to me in the past so he can get started with the show. So this week on the show, I am joined by Strix. Strix, how are you doing?
I am doing pretty good, Jeff. What about you?
I'm doing really, really well. So why don't at the top of the show you talk about all the stuff that you've got going on at the moment, introduce yourself to the listeners at home.
Oh, goodness. Hi, everyone at home. My name is Strix, and where do I begin? So I am a game designer, narrative designer, and writer, and I am also a diversity and inclusion advocate in the gaming space. And I also run a Twitch show, so I'm pretty busy. What I have going on right now is a few things. Me and my two co-designers of Bluebeard's Bride, which is a horror RPG that we're going to be releasing this summer, are in the middle of writing up our text for the book. It's really exciting. So we're done with beta testing, and we're going to get ready for the Kickstarter here pretty soon. We're releasing through Magpie Games.
I'm very excited for Bluebeard's Bride. I was listening to the one-shot of it a few weeks ago, and it was really just incredible. It was an incredible sounding game. Super excited.
What do you think? Is it too scary?
No, I think it was terrifying, but in a really good way. It left me physically uncomfortable, which generally a podcast doesn't do, but in a way that I really wanted to play it myself.
That's really exciting. Are you familiar with the fairy tale of Bluebeard at all?
I had actually been in, when I first heard Bluebeard's Bride, the game mentioned, I went and read the fairy tale, and that was sort of my introduction to it.
Yeah, for some reason, a lot of people these days thinks Bluebeard is a pirate, and Bluebeard is not a pirate. The fairy tale is really old. It comes from everywhere, really, but the French version is probably the most famous, and that's the one where there's this aristocrat. He literally has a blue beard for no reason, but he murders all of his wives and stuffs them in a room, which is terrifying and awesome, especially if you're playing the wife. So that's Bluebeard's Bride, and that's, again, coming out this summer, and we're writing up the text right now, so that's really fun. I also have this Twitch show that I'm doing. Have you heard about that yet, Jeff?
Yeah, I was actually just watching it before we went on air.
Oh, really? Which episode?
Yeah. I was just watching, I watched a chunk of the Fall of Magic episode, I think last week, while I was in the office.
Wonderful.
Or rather, I should say while I was not in the office, because that's against the rules, and I would never do that at work.
No, not at all.
Before the show, I was watching the Warren episode.
Oh, fabulous. So for you folks at home, what we're talking about is my show. It's called Weekly Affirmations, and it's a show that happens every Friday at 3 p.m. PST on Hyper Rabbit Power Go, which is a long name, but we could call it Hyper RPG over at the studio. And Hyper RPG was actually started by the old showrunner of Geek and Sundry, Zach Eubanks. So he moved up to Seattle, where I'm at, actually quite recently, after finishing up with Geek and Sundry, and he partnered with Harebrained Schemes of Shadowrun and Battletech fame to start this new channel, which has 10 hours of content a day. It's pretty extreme. So my show is only one show on that channel, but Weekly Affirmations is about exploring indie and freeform games with a Twitch audience, which, if you know anything about Twitch, was kind of terrifying at first.
I can see that.
I didn't know if it was actually going to be a good idea. But I spent a long time talking to Zach about the type of community that he wanted to build. Cause, Twitch is generally pretty toxic, but I observed how he ran Geek and Sundry, and then I observed the setting up of Gist channel, and I was like, all right, I'm going to take a risk. And so far it's been really great. I love running the show. I get to meet really interesting people. People at home get to hear about games they never would have heard of before. And I'm going to get to play crazy things. Like somehow I'm going to work, still life into my show,
Mm-hmm.
which if you can get away with people playing rocks in a LARP on a Twitch, so you're doing something right. So I have that going on.
Absolutely.
Have you played Still Life, Jeff?
No, I have not.
Oh man, you are missing out.
I suspect tell me a little bit about it, because I've not heard of it, and I'm
Okay.
very interested in the idea of playing a rock.
Yeah. So Still Life comes from this game competition called the Golden Cobra Challenge, which I am actually a judge for.
Oh, I've heard of the Golden Cobra,
yes.
yeah.
So the Golden Cobra is a yearly challenge where basically we give you a premise and you have a month to write an indie freeform game. And it's not meant to be like super gigantic heavy games. They're supposed to be played in like an hour or two, really rules light. But the first year that we ran it, one of our winners was Still Life. And Still Life is by far one of my favorite games to come out of Golden Cobra. And basically the premise is you and your friends are playing as a bunch of rocks. There's like feldspar and granite and whatever else. And the GM, the game master, is an quote elemental force, and the person pushes and pulls the rocks together and apart, and the rocks can only talk to each other if they're physically touching. So if there's a rock over yonder, you can't talk to that rock. You can only talk to who's around you. And each rock is given a question. Like, I think Fool's Gold was like, am I really pretty? And like, Granite was like, am I that tough? And they were basically like really internal thinky questions. And so
right.
The rock is like interacting with the other rocks and moving through time and being pushed around. And, eventually the world ends because the earth is engulfed by the sun. But by that time, the goal of the game is like, did I answer my question? Did I answer my rock question? So it's really like a Zen meditation in disguise while you're playing a rock. I think it's fantastic. I've played this game many times.
That's so cool sounding. I'm all about that. Oh my goodness. So this week we are playing Our Radios Are Dying by Caitlin Bell. It is a sort of a heartbreaking freeform indie game. The story is about two lesbian astronauts from the warring planets of Venus and Mars. Mm-hmm. They have on both planets, cavorting with the other planet is punishable by jail time. Being queer is punishable by death. Mm-hmm. So our two lovers have snuck away for a weekend, or snuck away for an afternoon alone, or something to that effect. But while working on their spaceship, there was an accident. Their tether to the ship has broken, and they are floating off, essentially for their last moments, as there's no way that they can reasonably get help. Mm-hmm. They're left in the ship, so they're left by themselves for the last hour to share their last words and to say all the things that have kept inside. So it's gonna be a little heavy.
So I should get my Kleenexes now, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't normally get nervous about playing games, but I'm a little bit nervous about this one because I feel like it's gonna go to some places that I feel like there's some vulnerability there that's it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I always get nervous when there's an emotional game in front of me. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this person going to think I'm weird? Or what if we go too far? Or what if I can't go far enough? And oh my gosh, the vulnerability. Every time, actually. Are you the same way?
I really am. A little bit. At least a minute or two before about every game I play, there's a moment of like, oh my god, am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to tell this story? But normally my games skew a little bit to the sillier and a little bit lighter weight. So I usually am able to be like, well, it's just fun. It's fun. So this is going to be an interesting experience.
Well, I'm in if you're in.
I'm 100% in.
All right.
I should say, along those lines, though, one of the rules of the game stated up front is we have the cut and break system if things get too intense for us. If you need to just take a breather without stopping the scene entirely, just say break. We'll take a breather. We'll slow things down. We can dial it back if things get too intense. Or if you want the scene to stop entirely, just say cut.
Sounds
and
good to me.
We'll talk things over. Say again?
I said, sounds good to me. Usual rules.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, who is Caitlin Bell? Do we know anything about Caitlin Bell?
Yes, Caitlin Bell is a game designer. She does a lot of lightweight indie games with very interesting material components. One of the things that we can't do because we're recording this remotely with Our Radios Are Dying is it asks that you sit in an office chair and sort of float around to simulate weightlessness. Caitlin Bell, a lot of her games, she's very fascinating. A lot of her games involve that kind of element. You can see more of her games. Her stuff is all supported via her Patreon, which you can find from her website, CaitlinBell.com. She's very nice. She's active on Twitter. She's great. I recommend following her on Twitter at, I believe it is Witch Goddess. I'll put a link to that in the show notes, though.
Wonderful.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you for making me clarify that, because otherwise I would have just blown right through it.
It's all right.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, there are two characters, Gwynexara, who is from Venus, and Visayethau, who is from Mars. We mentioned before the show we didn't have any preference, so I'm just going to take the two character sheets, flip them over, and the first one that I grab, I'm going to play Visayethau.
Okay, then I'll play Gwynezira.
Okay. And the one thing I wanted to put forward, just because I think it's interesting for their relationship, and I've been thinking a lot about this, is think a little bit about the kinds of pet names and nicknames that these two might have, because that was something that I was thinking a lot about as I was reading them over. So if you have any thoughts on that, I was thinking probably Visayethau just goes by V, because I think that's a nice little pop.
Sure. V or maybe Vissy.
Yeah. Ooh, Vissy. I like that. Yeah, I'll go by Vissy. So, I think that is the last of the prep that we wanted to do. Trying to think if there's anything else.
Well, do we want to tell the audience what's on the character sheets?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Yes. So on the character sheets, in addition to our background, which we can go a little bit into right now for each of our characters, it actually includes the way that really the only core mechanic to Our Radios Are Dying is a list of last word prompts. So these are phrases and things that are going to come up in the 1 hour that we have left to talk to each other. So these are things like, I'm going to just pull up one of mine that'll come up probably early, is one of mine, for instance, is twist their words and make them out to be the bad guy.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult conversation between the two of us. And in addition to that, so that sort of guides our conversation over the next hour. And in addition to that, there's a little bit of background, which I will go over Vissy's if you want to go over Gwyn's.
Sure.
So Vissy is a Martian astronaut. She's famous for her intelligence, power, beauty, and skill. She's piloted many missions of great importance. She is a lesbian, which is punishable by death. Mars is a passionate artistic place full of volcanoes that erupt gold, with an honorable culture based on strength, loyalty, and ethics. Martians can speak to animals and plants. We are engaged with a bloody war with Venus. Any contact with their soulless planet will result in several years of jail time. Vissy and Gwyn are lovers. We met aboard a space station for some time to ourselves while checking out a maintenance issue on the outside of the station. Our tethers broke. Propulsion systems glitched. We're flung into space with no hope of return. There's enough oxygen in our suits for exactly 1 more hour. After that, we will die dramatically.
Dramatically. I love it.
Yeah, I love that it specifies dramatically on the character sheet.
Okay, so with Gwynhira, Hixra?
I think that sounds right.
Gwynhixra. So you can call me Hicks. No, I'm just kidding. Gwyn is probably better.
Either one's fine. I mean, which? Well, hold on. Let me ask you. I'm going to ask you 2 questions real quick. Which does she prefer, and which one does Vissy call her?
So, yeah, they probably actually have several nicknames for each other, depending on how they're feeling.
Sure.
So it's probably like Gwyn, or Gwynny, or Hicks. Hicks is probably her childhood nickname, and she doesn't want to be called that anymore.
Ooh, yeah.
I had one of those, too, which I am not repeating.
I did as well. I'll share mine, because mine was silly. Mine was Harry Potter, because I looked just enough like Harry Potter as a teenager, and so...
Really?
Yeah, it's actually colored I've never actually gotten into Harry Potter for that exact reason.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's the one weird thing where it's been a slow going, but that was my awkward childhood nickname.
Well, okay, fine, since you shared, I'll share mine. My childhood nickname was Witter.
Witter.
Yep. Yep. And that's just because my dad thought it sounded good.
That's fair. People also called me Jeffrey a lot, which people still do, especially at work when they're emailing me and they're trying to be professional, and it drives me up a wall.
Is that like your mother's scolding name, like Jeffrey?
No. My parents generally just called me like swear words, like lovingly called me swear words when they wanted to yell at me. It was more so like, I don't know where it got picked up, but somehow every group of friends I've ever had, at least one person has just started calling me Jeffrey as a point of course. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I have the name that I like, but okay, I'm not going to stop you. That's not technically, not my name, so I can't stop you from calling me that, but.
All right, got it. Then Jeff, it will forever be.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so with Gwen, she is a Venusian cosmonaut, and on my homeworld, I am famous for my intelligence, wisdom, beauty, and skill. And I have piloted many missions of great importance for my people, and I'm also secretly lesbian. My home planet, Venus, is a beautiful world. It's full of massive gardens. We have rainbow rain, and we have a culture based on a mix of religion, ritual, and telepathy. So we've got a little bit of hind mind thinkingness going on. People on my planet value wisdom and knowledge, and the smartest of us actually have the strongest telepathic links. However, that only works on the surface of our planet. So in today's situation, there's going to be no telepathy, unfortunately. From our end, we are engaged in a bloody war with the planet Mars. Any contact with them and their barren, fire-blasted planet will result in at least several years of jail time. And Mars is a terrible place filled with horrible people who murder and sacrifice in the name of greed and dead gods. So there's some tension built into this.
And I should mention, I didn't mention it at the time, but I should also say I think Venus is pretty terrible as well, full of terrible people who consume and deplete and carry out secret wars against the innocent. Yeah, there's some tension on both sides. This is not going to be the most pleasant of conversations. And the last thing I want to bring up before I start this timer, and I should bring up two things, or I guess three things. First and foremost, anything that is brought up by either person is true. They may have different viewpoints on it, but it certainly happened. We can each modify, but don't negate.
Yes, it's a yes exactly. Situation.
The other thing that I wanted to bring up is I wanted to ask you up front. So there is going to be some tension here. There is going to be some intense back and forth. Is there any topics or anything that you want to consciously steer around?
Not topics. There's just one word that I don't really like at all, and I would prefer that we not use it. And that is the word bitch. If we could just bar that from our language, that would be great.
Accidentally, but no, that's fair. Perfectly fair. The one thing I would request is, I've been thinking about this, and I just fear that it might cause a legit panic attack in me, is narratively, I would like to start to have this hour take place a ways after we've been floating, just so that we kind of get in, for lack of a better term, we get into the, I guess you'd call it the acceptance phase of the 5 stages, because I fear that going through the actual panic attack of oh no, we're floating, blah, 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 might literally cause me to freak out a little bit. Yeah. So we've been floating for a little while. This is our last hour.
Okay. So let me get into that headspace then, because I was going to start with the actual, oh my God,
sure.
Die. So give me a second.
So we've been floating for a while. It's been, we've gone through the whole trying to figure out if we have any resources that can get us back. We can still think on that as we go, but the initial, oh my God, I think that's behind us. Does that make sense? Is that all right?
All right, I got it.
Cool. So with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and start this 1 hour timer, and we can get going. So beginning the game in 3, 2, 1, and we're going. So, I can't believe this. I can't believe that we're out here.
Well, we are.
I know we are. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know it's a lot to wrap your head around. That's all.
That's all I'm saying. You don't need to jump down my throat about it.
Wasn't jumping down your throat. Seeing as we are about to die, I was trying to be calm.
That's fair. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, you don't have to apologize. I mean, it's kind of ironic. Now you're all apologetic.
What does that mean?
If I knew that, if I knew that all it took was, throwing out into the depths of space to get an apology from you.
When have I not apologized? And moreover, why didn't you mention this sooner before we, are here?
Because, you know what? I just didn't want to deal with it. Okay. Do you remember when I had to cancel seeing you about 2 months ago because they were on to me back home, and you blew up and you yelled at me and you said that I didn't care about you and you were freaking awful about it and you made me cry?
Well, I mean...
And then I asked you to stop, and then it was really shitty. You actually just acted like fine. And then you never... I don't understand. Why did you not think that you had to apologize for that?
You know what? I felt like we had plans, and, we've been pretty resourceful in the past about this. I thought we had a good arrangement, and, I know that...
No, you're missing the point. You're missing the point entirely, Vissy. I wanted you to apologize for being shitty to me about it. Because you were shitty to me about it. And that wasn't okay. That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm just saying that, I get feeling like what I said was shitty, but I also feel like at the same time, maybe we were both a little shitty about it, I mean, like I said, we had plans. You went immediately to cancel.
I apologized. No. I apologized, and you did not. You just accepted it as your due, like you are some sort of reigning queen. You know what? I don't know why we're talking about this. Now is not really the time.
I feel like it is maybe a little bit of a bad time. Or but you know what though? Maybe not. You know what? Maybe not.
What?
I don't feel what we kind of don't have another chance. We may as well clear the air, right? We may as well clear the air.
This is not how I want to spend, first of all, my time with you, and second of all, Vissy, this is it. This is literally all the time that we have left. Do you really want to spend it this way?
The way I see it, I understand what you're saying. I get that. I get that we want to have that if this is it, we want to have, we want to hold each other and do all that, the I love you, I'll love you forever stuff. I get that. I understand what you're feeling. But the way I see it, I don't want to end with anything other than a clear conscience.
That's what's important to you?
That we both
clear conscience, Vissy?
That we both end having said everything that we needed to say.
What
the last thing that I want is to end with secrets.
Oh my god. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Vissy.
Doesn't it? A little bit? Let me ask you this. You're saying there's nothing that you want to say. There's nothing. Everything that you want to say to me between now and then is good.
Why are you so worked up at me? I didn't do this. You're taking it out on me. That's not fair.
I'm not trying to take it out on you. I'm trying to help us. I guess I want this to end. I want to get to where you want to be. I want to have that moment of smiling and holding each other, and I want to be able to say our love yous clearly. And I feel like if it's going to be us talking about canceled plans and you know, what's my
What?
favorite food?
What?
You never learned my favorite food.
Well, hang on. What? Where is this coming from?
I was just thinking about it when we were on the space station. I looked at the stuff that you brought. I looked at the rations, and it was all like vegetables and healthy things. And I'm like, you promised that you would bring you promised that you would bring stuff that we would both enjoy.
Oh my gosh, Vissy. Of course I brought vegetables and healthy things. You know why? Because I wanted you to live a healthy, long life.
Well, just saying, if we had sweets, you know, you never know. You never know what might happen. So
that's a
like
reason
sweets.
to eat too many sweets and become diabetic and ruin your health? Bullshit. You are always not taking care of yourself. I have to take care of you. I have to watch you and make sure that you eat the right things, that you get enough sleep. You know, half the time when I'm not there, I wonder if you even listen to my advice.
You know what? I do listen to your advice. I do. I promise that I listen. Yeah, I take the supplements.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when I remember, I try to take the supplements. Which, by the way, you know what? Like, I try really hard, and it would be nice to have that acknowledged. That I'm trying.
Trying at what?
To be better for you. You know, I used to have it pretty easy going before we met. Now I try to eat better. I try to take the supplements. I try to get the 8 hours a night. I'm trying that for you.
This isn't Vissy. This is not for me. This is for you. I just want you to be healthy and happy. Why is that so hard?
I understand that. It's just sometimes I see a sweets tray. I pass by a food court in a space station, and I think, oh, what I wouldn't give to be that person again. And sometimes it feels a little bit like I'm letting my younger self down because I said that I wouldn't become that person.
Well, I think really all that matters is who you are right now.
That's fair. I just this is what I wanted to. This is the kind of thing I wanted to get off my chest. I felt like I couldn't go on carrying that weight, especially given our current circumstances.
Well, you know the thing about weight in space.
I hate how funny you are.
Yeah, well, enjoy it while it lasts, sweet cheeks.
Oh, I needed the laugh. I needed some laughter. Current situation, you know, laughs are probably a little hard to come by, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, let's not just do it too much, though. We'll use up more of the air than we would just breathing in.
That's fair. Laugh in moderation. You know, it's just like you, always in moderation.
What? You know, sometimes I think you really think I am like the biggest square just because I think before I do things.
Well, that was a joke, though. I was trying to make you laugh. I'm sorry. That was a bad joke. It was a bad joke.
Ah. All right.
I'm sorry. I realized that it was a bad time with the conversation that we've been having. I realized that was poorly timed.
Yeah, it was.
Do you accept my apology?
Wait, really? That was just an exercise of apology because I've gotten on to you about not apologizing?
No, I was honestly apologizing. You know what? This isn't. I was trying to be polite and I was trying to apologize, but if you don't want to accept my apology, then that's fine. And then we can, you know, if this is going to be a thing where everything that we say turns into a fight, then we can just spend the next hour in silence. How's that sound?
I'm gonna frame this as you coming to terms with your imminent death and not doing so very well, and I'm not gonna blame you for being a jerk.
I'm just gonna sit here in silence. That's fine.
Really? Oh my god. Fine. You know what? Fine. We can sit here in silence.
Thank you. That's all I ask, is that you agree with me sometimes. Was that hard? Was that hard to agree with me? Oh, come on. I'm not giving you the cold shoulder anymore. Come on now. Fine. You know what? It's not me. Like, this is so much like you. This is.
I'm sorry. Are we sitting here in silence or not? I'm just trying to be clear on what you want.
I don't want to sit here in silence as we await our imminent death. If you would please talk to me as we await our imminent death, that would be very nice.
Fine. You're always trying to fucking take me hostage emotionally all the time. I'm just over it.
That's fair. And I didn't realize that I did that. And I appreciate you bringing that up to me.
Really?
Yes. I didn't realize that I did that. And so thank you for mentioning that to me, so that we can move forward.
Welcome.
Let's not start over, because I don't like it when people say let's start over, because experiences matter, but let's start on a new foot from this second in 3, 2, 1 right now. Let's just start it fresh. Is that cool with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay. It got heavy, and I'm sorry. Can I ask you something, though?
Okay. Yeah?
Just, can you say that, you know what, never mind. It's
what?
silly. It's silly, and it's not like me, and I don't like it.
What? No, just tell me.
Can you say that you love me? Like you used to? Like in the early days?
Like I used to?
You know, like when we were... Before we were in a relationship, when we were first kind of flirting together. Before we said we loved each other, but like...
Wait a minute. Yeah, sorry. I just want to... let me see if I got this right. We're drifting in the blackness of space with an hour to live, and you would like me to flirt with you. Oh, Vissy, that is so you.
I thought it would be nice. You know, you were saying that you wanted to have like a nice last few minutes. That's all.
No, I think that's great. Oh gosh. You want me to do the thing with like the... Okay.
You know, yeah, the whole... I figure it'll brighten our spirits, right? Can't hurt.
All right. Come here. Me, put your visor up.
All right. It's really bright out here.
Vissy, you have the brightest eyes I have ever seen. They remind me of the rain on Venus, which, you know, I would love to show you someday.
I would love to see it.
Vissy. Really? You would come?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, why would, I'd love to. I've heard so many stories, and they can't all be true, right? There have to be. I guess I'd want to see the good, because I've heard so much of the bad.
Vissy, I thought we were flirting here. Are we flirting or are we not flirting?
I'm sorry. I got in my head. I'm sorry. That got weird.
Stick with me here,
all right,
kiddo.
All right.
Come on. Got to commit if you want me to do
I'm committed.
this.
There's a whole lot, the stories with the secret police and the stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a whole thing. I don't want to. I'm sorry.
What is your freaking problem? I'm trying to romance you in dead space, and what are you doing?
I'm sorry. No, you're right. I slipped. It was a thing. You're right. Please, let's refocus.
Oh my gosh. That's the thing with you Martians, is you can just never let anything go.
Okay. I can see how that's fair. I can see how you would think that's fair play. I'm going to let that comment go. Just as I'm going to ask that you let my errant comment go.
I'm not really feeling very flirty anymore.
That's fair. I am not either feeling flirty. I sort of feel like that moment has passed.
I wish, when we first got together, I had all of these plans, how I was going to whisk you away and secretly put you on my ship as a stowaway and bring you down to the surface and show you the gardens, and you'd fall in love with it.
And
I don't know.
I have to admit, I also had plans.
Grand plans of peace and bullshit.
I also had plans. It's dumb, and you're gonna laugh at me, and if you thought the flirting was bad, you're gonna think this is even worse. But I had kind of just figured that we would, I don't know, steal a ship, just go. I feel like there's got to be planets beyond Venus and Mars, right? Like there's got to be something else beyond this war. I kind of figured maybe we could be like, I don't know, badass space pirates. I thought that would be a cool adventure. You could handle.
You wanted us to be space pirates?
Yeah, not pirates. Obviously I don't want to hurt anybody, but outlaws. Out and proud and surfing the galaxy. It would have been great, right? How cool would that have been?
Well, except for you'd be very lonely all the time with no telepathy.
Well, I would feel like we would have each other. I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't feel. Are you saying you wouldn't be comfortable with just the two of us?
Okay, I don't feel like that's a fair question. One, because codependency is a real thing that's very bad. And two, because we're humans. And because we are social creatures by nature, we have to have communities. If you have a community of just one, then you put all of your needs and all of your onuses and all on your weight on that one person to carry. And that, frankly, is not fair. It takes a community to have a community, not just a single person. That's not healthy.
But I just kind of feel like if having this community is so important, but the community is also based on telepathy, then my question to you is, where do I fit into that? Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, you were fitting in just fine before.
I mean, not really. I mean, not to say that the secret tryst stuff wasn't fun, but like, I figured where do we go from there? Like, what's next year gonna look like? Where do we see ourselves a year from now? Are we doing the same thing? We're not getting any younger.
I don't know exactly what you want out of that. I mean, what is next year gonna bring? We could be killed at any time for this, and now it doesn't fucking matter. But like, next year, I was looking forward to the next moment, because that is all that's ever guaranteed to see.
I wish I could live that way. I've tried. I tried really hard, and
There's no other way to live when you're a freaking lesbian.
And I understand that it's not fair to want, I understand that that's how we have to live, but I also don't think that's fair.
I mean, do you still regret not coming out? I mean, because it's a terrible idea, and we've had that discussion, and it just would have meant certain death.
don't have an answer for that, if I'm being 100% honest. I don't.
I mean, we had what we had, Vissy. That's it. That's what it was. And that's the only thing that we could have had.
Yeah, but what about... Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess we had all that we could have, and it was all that it could have been. And
that's a lot of very directed emphasis there.
Yeah, no, I noticed that you were using a lot of past tense, and couldn't help but read into that a little bit.
We are about to die. It is over. Not just this, everything is over.
Yeah, but, I mean, we're still... Are you crying? You alright?
No, I'm fine.
Don't do this. Not now. Please, if you cry, I'm gonna cry. And I can't. I'm not supposed to... Martians don't cry. We don't cry. We don't do it.
Yeah, there's news.
What does that mean? You're crying. You're emotional. I understand. I'm not going to push it. Come here, please. Let me hold you, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Can you just talk like a person and not a robot? Can you have some emotion in your voice? Ever?
I have emotion sometimes. I have lots of emotion. I'm not a robot.
I have emotion sometimes. Really?
Sometimes.
That sentence just come out now.
I didn't realize I had said that. You know what? I hearing it said back, I get it. That sounded a little off. I understand. I get it. But I have emotion.
Then show me.
You want me to show you? How? Do you want me to... Okay, you know what? You want me to show emotion right now? I'm going to show you emotion. At this moment, Fee gets down, like, gesture-wise in the vacuum of space as getting down on one knee.
What are you...
You want me to show you emotion? This is me showing emotion.
What are you doing?
I am proposing to you. Because I realize that we've only got 36 minutes left, but I don't want to spend those 36 minutes as... I don't want to spend them in a tryst with someone that I love. I want to spend them... I want to spend them with the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, and that's you. So I'm proposing. Will you marry me? In front of a million stars, full of people that probably wouldn't kill us for this.
So out of character, yes. Gwen looks horrified. Back in character. Oh, Jesus, Vissy. What? Stop it. Just stop.
Stop what? No.
And she, like, grabs... No, you need to... Oh, God. Oh, God.
Do you not want to marry me? It's not like anybody's going to find out.
Shit. Vissy, I am married.
What?
God. Have been married for 7 years.
You're married?
To a man.
You're married. You're married. Let me ask you this. When you had to cancel our plans, and you cried, and I was a monster, And we had a fight about that when we were in space. Just answer me one question. Were quote unquote they on your tail? Or was he on your tail?
Look, I have to be married in my society, or they would figure it out, Missy. And this, you're...
Answer the question.
I mean, yes. Okay? Yes, I was covering my ass. But hear me out, okay? We never said that we were gonna make this anything more than it was. We knew that our fucking planets are at war. We knew that we can't even travel to each other's surface to see what the lives that we lead. I see you once every few months. We hook up and it's great and we have wonderful sex and I really like you and I have feelings for you and it is love, but Missy, there's many different kinds of fucking love and I have a whole other life, okay? And so do you.
I don't now. I don't have a life now.
Okay, point taken.
And
but you got up every day and you put on your little Martian marching boots and you marched around on Martian soil and you needed Martian things because you're a Martian at the end of the day. And I am from Venus and I'm a Vesuvian at the end of the day. And we both knew that.
I did know that, but I just... Okay. I'm going to level with you right now. And I don't know why, because, frankly speaking, I don't quite feel as trusting of you as I did 10 minutes ago. You know, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't feel quite that same bond of trust, but I've always been a little bit embarrassed by this, because like I said, Martians are powerful people. We are decisive and we hold things back, but...
Oh yes, Missy, you're so decisive. Sorry.
Sorry. No, please.
Sorry.
No, please, indulge me. What does that mean? Indulge me.
Missy, you can't even decide what food you want to eat half the time. Decisive. I mean, I get that that's like your thing in Martian land. But come on.
Come on what? Come on what?
Look, I do love you, but you are a hot mess. You're a hot mess. And you know that.
I think it's part of my charm, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I find it charming, but if you're also being honest, you are not, this is why I, fell in love with you, because you're not the typical Martian. You aren't these crazy militant, you're exactly the opposite of them. It's the only reason why I like you.
I understand, I feel very similarly about you. You know, you're warm in a way that I've never met a Venusian that is warm like you.
Well, that's because you don't, do the telepathy thing. We're actually pretty all, warm and fuzzy on the inside. You just got to get down on the surface and, talk in the way that we talk, which you can't do. So I get that you wouldn't see that side.
Yeah, I know. I'm never gonna feel that. And if I'm being honest, it's something that I've thought about before when we were together. I've thought about the fact that, like, there's another world to you that I'm never gonna experience, But anyway, I never finished, and she goes to a pouch on her, like, spacesuit. She pulls out a photo of the two of them together from their first date. Mm-hmm. Or their first get-together.
Okay.
You see this picture?
You have that on you in your suit?
All times. I keep it with me.
That's really dumb.
I know, right? I know, it's stupid. It's a stupid, risky thing that could get me killed. But it was worth it. It's worth every second of it. Because even though it was a fling, and it was stupid, and I shouldn't let myself get involved because Martians are in control at all times, I liked not being in control. I liked feeling wild and stupid and dumb and all of those feelings. You're married?
Oh my gosh. Of course I'm married. Vissy, you are so naive sometimes.
Do you love him?
Oh, you don't want to... Do you really want to have that conversation? Is that...
I feel like we kind of have... I'd rather not let it end on a question mark. And if you want me to have feelings, then this is the feeling that I'm feeling is I want to know, do you love him?
Okay, wanting to know something is not a feeling, Vissy.
Inquisitive, that's a feeling. Pensive, that's a feeling.
We gotta work on this emotional acuity of yours.
I'm trying. Just more than I can say for you.
What?
You heard me. I'm sorry, that was mean. That was mean.
Look, I do love you.
That wasn't the question, though.
Why does it matter what I feel when we're not together? When we're not together, we're not together. We have other lives.
I just want to know, do you love him?
Why? What possible outcome will you get from having that answer?
I just want to...
Are you saying that love is limited? That you can only love one person at a time? That all love is the same? Because it's not.
I just want to know, do you love him?
Yes, but not in the same way that I love you. And that, I don't feel like I should be judged for that, okay?
I don't want to judge. I'm not trying to judge.
Liar. You lie.
Okay, I want to judge a little.
Exactly what you're trying to do.
I want to judge a little bit.
I know.
In the name of honesty, in the name of our last moments together, I want to judge just a little bit.
Yeah, great.
But I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try not to. I can't promise anything, because you can't promise that you're not going to be judgmental or petty or cruel in a particular moment, because that's not how our brains work. But I can try. And I hope that that's enough.
All right. Well, I answered your question.
You did, and I appreciate that. Why'd you never bring it up?
Because you didn't need to know, because it wouldn't add anything to our relationship.
Honestly,
it wouldn't make you happier.
It wouldn't make me happier. You're right, and it doesn't make me happier. It hurts. It's a knife in my back, and it feels like...
Why? Why is it a knife?
Because I thought I was the only one. I thought
why does that,
this was...
why does that matter?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for why it matters, but it does to me. And it might not matter to you, and I don't fault you for that. I get it. We're different people. More different people than I thought that we were 40 minutes ago, but it matters to me. But the thing is, it hurts like hell. But if I had known all along, I could have at least planned. I could have tempered my expectations for what this could have been.
Expectations?
Yeah. Or not fantasies or thoughts or ideas or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Well, what expectations did you have, Vissy?
That this was going to get serious at some point. That this wasn't just going to be for fun.
Please explain to me how it could be serious. In what world? Which world? How? Without us ending right where we are right now, which is dying.
I put a down payment on a ship.
You did not.
I did. I did. That's the world I thought we were going to be serious. I cleared out my savings. I cleared my stock options.
You did not talk to me about this.
I didn't talk to you about it. I was going to surprise you.
What did you think we were going to do? Just live on a spaceship forever?
Yeah, go see the galaxy. Go see worlds beyond. And I thought there was I figured we could just go and see. Jupiter sounds cool. I want to see Jupiter.
Oh, Vissy. You were just going to spring this on me? You don't know me at all.
I had a plan. I had a good plan, I thought. But my plan hinged on you not being married. You're married!
Yeah, because I live on Venus. And you don't. And you live on Mars. And I don't. And our people are actively trying to kill each other. So I'm really confused in what... I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but really, what did you think was going to happen? Where did you think we were going to go? What were we going to do?
I don't know. I didn't, for once, I didn't think that far ahead.
Yeah, because there's nowhere to think to. Vissy, it's not an answer.
Yeah, but I figured you're always talking about how it's moment to moment, and I just got that you were trying to tell me not to take it seriously. I just got that. But with the moment to moment stuff, and I got it. I get it now. I get it. I get it. You were trying to send me brain. You were trying to do your telepathy thing through words instead of through telepathy, but I get it now. In retrospect, it's pretty obvious.
I had realistic expectations of our relationship.
I gotta know. I have to know. What you always talk about moment to moment, but what were your expectations? Was it just that we would meet up every couple of months to fuck and then move on?
Okay, first of all, that's not really what we have.
I know, I know, but honestly, I'm a little bit questioning what you think that we have.
I think that you are brilliant and interesting, and I love being around you, and you make me think of things in different ways that I never would have thought about them on my own, and I love you. But there's only a certain part of our lives that touch each other, and I was okay with that. I made myself be okay with that. Because otherwise I couldn't deal with it, you know?
That actually makes a lot of sense.
It does?
Yeah, it does. Actually, that makes all the sense in the world, if I'm being 100% honest. Which I don't feel like there's any reason not to be, because...
Yeah, I mean...
20 minutes and 40 seconds.
I don't need to know that.
I'm sorry, I thought it would be poetic, but in fact, saying it out loud makes it a little bit morbid, and I see that now.
Look,
I'm not a poet like you are.
I'm not a poet either.
I don't know, you're more clever than any person that I've ever met.
Well, thank you. Wish I was clever enough to get us out of this one.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
I mean, if it was a different place and time and we could actually be together, then that would be something. But we can't. We couldn't. And so I needed to have a full life. Would you really begrudge me that?
I can't answer that.
Because you would. Because you do.
A little bit.
So you'd rather
Just a little
us
bit.
just both be miserable.
A little bit. A little bit.
You honestly don't have someone back home. That's what you're saying?
No, I don't.
You don't.
I
You
don't.
don't go on dates?
I mean, I hang out with. I have friends. And to your point, I love my friends, but no, I don't.
So should I be jealous of you loving your friends because you love them in a different way than you love me, and you need them? Should I judge you for that? That I'm not your whole world? Because guess what?
No.
I am your whole world right now.
Right now, yeah. Right now, we've only got each other.
Yeah, look how that's been going.
Painfully aware of that fact.
Hey. What I'm saying is, I just want you to understand, like, and be realistic about this.
I understand. I do understand.
No, that's
it.
The Vissy does not actually agree voice. I know that very well.
I do understand. I do understand. No, I know that you know this voice, and I know that I'm doing the voice, but I can't not do the voice. It's sort of just there.
Because you understand, but ...
No, actually, I was just going to say I understand. I didn't have a butt. I mean, I have a butt. It's a very nice butt, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's true.
But no, I didn't have a follow-up to that. I understand. I just wish you told me earlier. That's all.
I just didn't want it. Would have made you unhappy.
It would have made me unhappy, and it makes me unhappy now, but you know what? I'd rather... In time, I would have been okay with it. Given, we've known each other for, 2 years?
2 years and 3 weeks.
2 years and 3 weeks. I'd have been okay with it by then, even if you told me a year ago. Even if you told me 6 months ago. I'm not going to be okay with it in 17 minutes.
So
that's all.
You're going to die not being okay with it?
Maybe.
That really
I'm going to try.
sucks.
It really does. It does suck. So maybe I will be okay with it.
Well,
No.
What's the point of not being okay with it at this? I don't even know what I'm saying. Like, why holding on to it is going to serve you in what way?
That's a really good point. No. You know what? That's a great point. I'm going to be okay with it. Because you know what? And you're not... you know what? I'm just going to say it because I'm rather tired of prefacing. I'm a Martian, and Martians are in control, so I'm going to be okay with it. I'm going to say that I'm okay with it, and I'm going to mean it.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I'm okay with it.
You're in control.
Yeah.
That's right.
You don't believe me. You're laughing right now.
No, I'm not laughing.
You're laughing. Why are you laughing? I'm totally in control right now. Look, I'm going to puff out my chest. I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm in control right now.
Yeah, you are so, yeah, you're right, Vissy, you are so in control right now of everything. Just the staggering amounts of control. Oh man, Martians are so delusional.
Wow. I did not expect that out of you. I'll be honest with you.
What?
I did not expect Martians are so delusional. That is unlike you.
You know what? I might be a little stressed out right now. So
I'm just didn't think you had that in you, Hicks.
Hey, that's a low blow. That's not necessary.
Hey, you know what? All's fair. All's fair in love and war.
Yeah, no, I got that part. You didn't have to say.
Did you get that?
The second half.
I didn't. I wasn't sure. Sometimes I I'm not clever, and so sometimes I have to explain.
Yes, yes. Yes.
Well, thank you, and thank you for putting up with that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
No, I mean it. I'm not the cleverest. I'm not witty.
See, that's like
And
a danger zone for me, because if I agree with you, you get mad at me. But if I don't agree with you, then I'm sort of, just sort of massaging your feelings over there.
no,
I'm just gonna sit back and let you do your thing.
I
with that.
wasn't. I promise you. I promise you. This time, I know there have been a lot of times when I've promised you and I was doing a thing. I promise you I'm not doing a thing right now. When I say I'm not clever, I'm not witty, and I thank you for being okay with that in the time that we spent together. I promise you I'm not doing a thing. I'm not trying to get anything out of this. I'm just...
Well, that is your usual MO.
I know it is. Trust me, I'm pretty good at it, if I may say so myself.
Oh, are you?
I think I'm pretty good at it.
I don't know if that's something to be proud of, Vissy.
You know what? We don't got time for shame.
Oh, now I get it. You're on the absolution train when it's your feelings. Got it. Okay.
Just saying, now that, no time to feel bad about ourselves now. We're close enough to the end. May as well take joy in the things that we're good at.
Is this some sort of are you having a mental meltdown right now?
Well, I am floating in space to my death with the woman that I didn't know was married until about 20 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I'm having a little bit of a mental break. A little bit. I ask that you be patient with me.
The whole last 10 minutes of you going, okay, I'm fine with this, is just bullshit, is what you're saying. We're back to square one.
Yeah, no, that was pretty much all bullshit. I'm aware of that.
I would wring your neck if it meant anything, but it doesn't.
Well, plus the helmet, it's going to be really difficult to...
Oh no, I'd find a way.
I mean, I don't doubt it. You're remarkably resourceful. The files on you aren't wrong.
See, now I know that you're baiting me, but I'm going to go for this anyway. What files?
I mean, you're part of the Venusian military. There are files on you.
And you read them?
There are files on all of us. Of course I read them. I thought it was kind of, a little hot, if I'm being honest. Sneaking in, reading some files on the woman that I'm seeing. I thought it was kind of cool. It felt dangerous.
Well, okay, besides the fact that is completely... It's dumber than having the picture in your pocket. What was in my file?
It said you were remarkably resourceful. It said that you were dangerous, which I thought was pretty cool. To be able to be like, yeah, dangerous. Yeah. I was, and then just normal stuff, the missions that you would run, that kind of thing. They think that you've run a few more missions than you actually have, which I think is a little bit odd, but hey, you know what?
Well, how do you know how many missions I've run?
Just because we've talked about it before, unless you're hiding some extra missions.
Okay, whoa, sweet cheeks. Not talking about some missions is not hiding missions. Some of them happened a long time before we met.
Just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if you were hiding more from me.
What? Okay, that is not fair.
Was that too
Okay.
far? Was that too? Wait, what was that? Was that too far?
Are you trying to, like, turn me into a human pincushion? Because it kind of feels like it.
I'm stressed.
You're taking those barbs, and you're just finding places to stick them, like a voodoo doll.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. Okay, but you know what? That was the last one. I think.
No,
As far as I know, that was the last one.
as far as you know, meaning you can't control yourself, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's 100% what I'm saying.
This Martian who is 100% in control, ha ha ha.
Obviously, that was a lie. We both knew that was a lie when I was saying it.
Yes, and you know what? We've both run missions that we haven't talked to each other about. So you can just let that goddamn thing go.
Fair. You know what? Fair.
And there's a reason why we don't ask each other about missions, Vissy, and you know why.
I do know why. I do. And I shouldn't have read the file. That was stupid and reckless, and it was an invasion of your privacy, and I goofed.
I mean, it was just dumb for so many reasons. One, you could have gotten caught and killed. Two, you could have gotten us both caught and killed. Three, you could have made them think that we were like spies or double agents, which would also, result in our death. And four, we don't talk about missions.
I know. We said business was off limits. I know. I just thought it was cool. I was curious. I let my curiosity get the best of me, and I shouldn't have done that.
You thought it was cool.
Yeah, thought it was cool.
You thought it was cool that I... Really? You thought it was cool that I decimated an entire mining outfit by denying them vaccines, and you thought it was cool that I dumped a bunch of radioactive... What is wrong with you?
We've both done things that we regret.
But it's
I got
not
swept up.
cool.
It's not. I got swept up. I got swept up in things.
See, I don't know how you think.
I don't know how I think either, if I'm being 100% honest. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes I get an impulse, and I chase that impulse to the ends of the galaxy. Sometimes I say, I am hungry, I'm gonna eat a cake. Sometimes I say,
A whole cake.
I've been seeing a woman that I love, I'm gonna buy a spaceship and we're gonna go.
I mean, I love that about you, but I don't love that about you as well.
I understand that.
It's really frustrating.
I understand that, and I feel the same way about you. I love that there's a process to everything with you, but it also drives me crazy. And sometimes I wish that you would be a little more spur of the moment.
You know, it's probably the only thing that kept us alive up until this point.
That's true.
In fact, if I'd been the one to check the freaking tethers, we probably wouldn't be out here.
That's not fair. Please don't say that. Not now, at least.
Ugh. I've covered your ass so many times. I've kept your feet out of the fire so many fucking times.
It's true. You have.
And you come back with me like, oh, you should just be more loosey-goosey and just let it be. We would have been dead 5 times by now. You just don't care. It's like you don't care. You say you have all of these feelings of love and marriage, but you don't back it up, Vissy. That's why there's no future. It's all just words.
You know what? If we'd have died then or died now, does it really make a difference?
Well, at least we're not being tortured to death first. I guess there's
Yeah,
that.
no, I guess that's a good point.
This is a close second.
Got about... Do you want to know, or do you not know?
I would rather not know because you're going to make me have a panic attack.
That's fair.
Wait,
I'm not going to tell you because you're going to have a panic attack.
No, seriously, tell me. Is it minutes? Is it like in the single-digit minutes?
I'm going to make you a deal. I can tell you, but if you have a panic attack, then it's on you. 4 minutes.
Just fucking
we have
tell
4
me
minutes.
Or don't tell me. Just tell me. Oh, Jesus.
I didn't want to tell you. I considered your feelings, and I took a rational approach.
Why did you tell me? And she, hits you.
Oh, yeah, and then she, floats a little bit. Just, the tether starts to pull between the two of them, and they get pulled back. Well, that was uncalled for.
Well, you should have listened to me.
When you told me to tell you the time.
God damn it. No, the first time. You should, fuck.
Listen to me. Look me in the visor. Lift your visor up.
Right.
First off, it's bright out, right? Secondly.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay.
No, it's not going to be okay. It is. No, Vissy, listen to me. It's not okay. We're about to fucking die in the blackness of space. I'm only 27 years old.
Yeah, but you know what? It's gonna be okay.
What are you talking about?
The way I see it, you're here. I'm here. I think it's gonna be okay. I mean, it's not gonna be. I mean, I'll level with you. It's not gonna be okay. This is it. But if it's got to end, it could end a lot worse.
Guess you're right.
I'm sorry that you don't get to say goodbye to your husband. I am 100% sorry that you don't get to say goodbye. I understand that you love him.
Vissy, you don't.
No, I
understand
do. I'm trying. Well,
every time I go, no.
Please.
Let me finish my sentence. Every time that I go on a mission, or I come to see you, I say goodbye with the capital G because, unlike you, I understand that moments are moments, and when a moment is over, that's it, and then there's the next moment. So you're here and he's not. That's what matters, and this is this moment. And I'm not thinking about him right now. Really?
That's the most beautiful thing you've ever said to me. In the 2 years and 3 weeks that we've been together, that's the most beautiful thing that you've ever said to me. I know that sounds crazy,
really?
But that is the most, but to me, that is the most beautiful thing you've ever said to me.
I guess I'm not a very good poet then, because I wasn't very good.
No, it really was. I promise you. And I want you to know, in this moment, I'm here. No matter how scary that is. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm not. I could be anywhere else. In fact, it would be a lot more comforting if, in my mind, I was somewhere else. But I'm here. I'm here with you.
You're stupid.
I'm here. Here. You want to look at it one more time? She pulls out the picture.
Okay.
And they look at it together. I'm here. I'm here with you in space, but I'm also here. That sounded cheesy, but I'm sticking with it.
No.
Yeah, so I'm here, and I'm here.
I'm here too.
No matter what comes next.
I got it. I got it. Well, I guess we know what comes next.
We don't.
Or really, we
Could
don't.
be anything.
You know, actually, I never asked you. What do you think happens, afterwards?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. And that's it.
I don't. No!
That's time.
And they're dead.
That was intense.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Good job.
Yeah. The game suggests we take a breather. We stretch a little bit. We talk about where we're at in our headspace. Whew, that was intense. Mm-hmm. That was super fun, though. I really enjoyed that. I didn't see the marriage thing coming. I mean, I had read both character sheets, and I was. Whew.
It was the tell them something they never knew about you that would break their heart.
That
right?
did fit the bill. Yeah, I
did
not see that coming. That was good. That was a good one. I'm trying to think if I had any. Were there any moments that hit you particularly hard that I could try to figure out if it was a thing?
Let me think about it. Oh, the whole buy a spaceship and run away thing.
Oh yeah,
Gwen was flabbergasted by this.
That was definitely a thing. What was that? That was tell them what the next year would have been like.
Mm-hmm.
And then also reveal something that I was too ashamed to say before.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mixture of both of those things. Was that
interesting?
That I had never told you that I had done this crazy ship buying thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, Gwen was really taken aback by that. She was like, okay, this is not at all what I had. So I'm just going to start rapping here.
Yeah, please.
So with Gwen, like, she definitely wanted to, like, have more commitment with Vissy, but she knew that within the context and constraints of, like, real life that she just couldn't.
Sure.
So she definitely, like, popped into her head that, like, I'm just going to have this thing here and that's where it belongs, and I'm never going to think of it outside of this box.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm going to deal with it. And so when Vissy, like, poked holes in that box with her plans, she was totally whacked out and upset.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I saw Vissy very much as if I like it, I'm going to do it, and if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it as far in as I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she didn't think. I think she kind of almost implicitly assumed that that she was going to be that they were both on that page.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I think part of her knew that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I thought that was really well played.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Oh man, what a good game!
I know.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was great. Well, Strix, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Yeah, Jeff, this is really fun.
Oh, that was great. So
go ahead.
Please go ahead.
I was gonna ask, is there, if you were to replay this,
yeah,
maybe with me or with someone else, what was something that you would like to explore more that we didn't get to in this game? Because for me, it was the Martian-Venetian tensions.
I think for me, it was sort of that. I think it was we touched on it a little bit, but I think there's a fascinating idea about that because Gwen can talk. Gwen and being telepathic, and Vissy having the ability to talk to animals and plants. The fact that there's fundamental modes of communication that they both can't experience.
Yeah,
I think that's such an interesting, like, there's such an interesting disconnect in that there's just certain areas where they literally can never truly understand each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the thing that I was really interested in.
Yeah, because that's a huge relationship roadblock.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would have been fun to explore.
Yeah, that's probably the thing that I would explore further if I were to play it again. Oh man, my head's fried now, and I have to end the show. But I'm trying. I'm like, all right, Strix, thank you for coming on Party of One. Real quick, where can people find you online?
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Jeff. This was really fun. You can find me in several places. On Twitter, I'm at @the_Strix, STRIX. I also have Google+, Facebook presence, and as I mentioned, a Twitch show every Friday at 3 p.m. PST on Hyper Rabbit Power Go, which is Hyper RPG, so twitch.tv/HyperRPG, where we do kind of what you're doing, only with cameras. We explore indie and freeform games. And that's every week. So you can tune in live or you can watch the rebroadcasts on YouTube if you want to get caught up. It's really a lot of fun. So I hope you folks can join us at some point.
It really is. You should definitely check it out. With that said, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show.
All right. Take care, Jeff. Bye.
Thanks, Past Me. And thanks again to Strix for coming on the show. That was a real treat. Be sure to check out Weekly Affirmations, Strix's show highlighting freeform and indie RPGs, every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, on twitch.tv/hyperrpg. Strix actually just last week played Our Radios Are Dying on her show, so if you want to hear another playthrough of the game, you can check out the replay on YouTube. Also, definitely keep an eye out for Bluebeard's Bride. It's absolutely a game you're going to want to check out when it comes out. You can follow twitter.com/BluebeardsBride for updates on the game's progress, actual plays, and more. Finally, like I said at the top of the show, if this playthrough's piqued your curiosity, check out CaitlinBell.com to see more of Caitlin's work and support her work at patreon.com/Caitlin. Party of One is produced by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. This episode edited by Jen Frank. Follow the show on Twitter at Party of One Pod, Facebook at facebook.com/PartyOfOnePodcast, and Tumblr at partyofonepodcast.tumblr.com. If you like the show, consider telling a friend. Helping new people discover the show is the best way to help it grow and for us to do cool new things. If you're interested in coming onto the show as a guest, shoot me an email at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. Till next time, party people, thanks for listening, and remember, 1 minute you're waiting for the sky to fall, and the next you're dazzled by the beauty of it all.
Never gonna die.